Hello, and today and this weekend we're going to talk about a Long Island Railroad screw-up, and I will still cover transportation issues when they come about, even though I won't be making videos nearly as frequently. Whenever I see something that's amiss with the public transportation system, I'm definitely going to talk about it. And today we're going to talk about the track work program that's been going on at. There's going to be track work this weekend, next weekend, and the following weekend, I think, due to Harold. They're testing the new signal system at Harold for the east side access. But anyway, because of that, they've cut the Huntington trains back to from every half an hour to every hour. And this sign here is at Mineola. And you will see that Mineola is pretty much almost left with hourly service. You may say, well, there are two trains here. But the problem is that the this is an Oyster Bay train, which is basically going to connect up with the same train that comes 5 minutes later. So effectively, we have hourly service. You may ask, why the hell isn't the Ronkonkoma train stopping here? Well, I want to first talk about the schedules and how misleading they are. We're going to go over the Ronkonkoma schedule first, and then we're going to go over the Port Jefferson schedule. So let's go ahead and look at those schedules, these construction schedules for this weekend and the next 2 weekends as well. Where's it? 3 that are going to talk about this construction and the fact that they pretty much took away a Huntington train without having the Ronkonkoma train accommodate the Mineola stop, which carries a lot of people. So let's now take a look at those schedules. So as you'll see here, there's a whole literally boatload of special schedules here. Next weekend, actually, it's not going to be next weekend because next weekend is the Post Avenue installation bridge work. So they'll have special schedules for that, and basically the main line will be shut down between Mineola and Hicksville, and service from Mineola will go straight to Penn Station. But if you want to go east, you're going to have to take a bus to Hicksville. If you're on the Ronkonkoma line, you're going to take that Z train. That's going to go. You'll see. It'll go basically down the central branch and then use the Babylon branch to get west. It's going to be a dual mode on that, which maybe I'll show you when that's going on. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about this weekend, the weekend of November 4th and 5th and 11th and 12th. So let's first take a look at the Port Jefferson branch schedule. And you'll see that they have reduced service. You'll see here, and I will read it to you. They have, in order to accommodate weekend schedules, have been adjusted. Some trains have been canceled, reducing Huntington service to hourly and Port Jefferson service to 2 hourly. Other trains have revised times and stopping patterns. So we go ahead and we look at the schedule here, and we'll start with the westbound part of it. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe we zoom in a little bit. How's that? Make sure you can see that. You will see, let me explain to you where each train is going west. All right, so basically you have only hourly service on the Huntington Line. All right, so that's not going to make a difference for the local stations. It shouldn't make a difference for the local stations such as, Westbury, Carr Place, Maryland Avenue, and New Hyde Park. However, it shouldn't make a difference. What I'm going to explain to you is this. All right, a long time ago, the Huntington trains, they used to run every hour on the weekends, and they used to have, these diesels used to go out to Hicksville, I think, sometimes, or whatever. Whatever the case was, the Ronkonkoma train at that time stopped at Mineola. But when they redid their schedules years and years ago, the Huntington trains, now because they made the Huntington train every half an hour, they decided, all right, we're going to have the 2 Huntington trains serve Mineola for half-hourly service to Penn Station at Mineola, and the Ronkonkoma train will run express between Hicksville and Jamaica. But now that they took away the Huntington train due to this track work, they never reinstated the Ronkonkoma train stopping at Mineola. So when you look at this schedule and you say, all right, Mineola is over here, and if you haven't figured that out, you'll see that you have 759. That's the Oyster Bay train, and that connects up to the same train that this train is. So effectively, because of this track work, Mineola is being left with only hourly service. See, these are the Ronkonkoma trains here, 716, 816 Hicksville, but they're not making a stop at Mineola to make up for the loss of the Huntington train. So in typical Patrick Nowakowski style, they never revised the schedules properly to accommodate for the hourly Huntington service, and they just screwed over Mineola. And if you haven't figured it out, yes, the Mineola is my new home. That is where I live now, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But when I see something wrong, I'm still going to point it out. So you can see here that they do not have the Ronkonkoma trains stopping at Mineola to make up for the loss of the Huntington, the half-hourly Huntington train. So now they've left Mineola effectively with service only every hour, which is absolutely preposterous. All right, and a huge mistake, and you'll see the mistake in the schedule because there's a misprint on the Ronkonkoma train schedule. I pointed it out yesterday to one of the employees over there in Hicksville, and they couldn't even figure out why the misprint is there. So if you're going east, you see the same thing here. If you're going east, for instance, let's hand this over here. If you're going east, it's the same issue. You have only hourly Huntington service, and again, this is the Ronkonkoma train. It should be stopping at Mineola, but it's going right past Mineola without stopping, leaving Mineola with only every half an hour service. It also pretty much screws over any intra-island riders that are trying to go from Mineola past Hicksville, because now they have to literally take a much earlier train and sit in Hicksville for almost an hour, just because somebody at the scheduling department at the Long Island Railroad screwed up. All right, so that is pretty much what has happened. You can see pretty much by looking at the schedules. They've pretty much, they have the extra Ronkonkoma trains running, and those three extra ones, they'll stop at Mineola, but the other ones will not. So that's the Port Jefferson schedule. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the Ronkonkoma schedule, and you'll see the misprint I'm talking about, and it's pretty glaring. All right, so zooming in a little bit, you'll see that the schedule that they have up here, the 2 Ronkonkoma schedule, we'll start with the 2 Ronkonkoma schedule, it's the first line. They have the schedule like the Huntington train is running. See, so this H here in the Mineola column, this is the time of a Huntington train that's going east. All right, but the thing is, this Huntington train has been canceled. It does not run. And if you looked at this schedule, you'd be waiting for this train, and it would never show up. So this is a misprint on the schedule. Basically what it is people are going to be waiting there and wondering, what the hell? Why the freak isn't is the Ronkonkoma train not stopping at Mineola to make up for the lack of the Huntington train? You see, the scheduling department completely goofed up here. They made a complete mistake. They forgot to revise the schedule to have the Ronkonkoma train stopping at Mineola, so they screwed it up. All right, so it's the same thing going west. The Ronkonkoma train is not going to stop Mineola because they assume that the Huntington train, which is canceled, is still running. So they made a mistake. Basically, they made a huge mistake here, and I'm sure you could see it. A huge oops at the Long Island Railroad they made to forgot to have the Ronkonkoma train making a stop in Mineola. Instead, they assume that the Huntington train, the half-hourly Huntington service, is still running. Normally, if it's still running, you get on a Huntington train at, let's say, you're going east. You get on a Huntington train at Mineola 327, and then you get off at Hicksville and you get on the Ronkonkoma train 356. But the 327, you're going to be waiting for the 327, and it ain't going to come because it's not going to be running, and you're going to be sitting there and seeing your Ronkonkoma train go past, and then having to be waiting a whole nother hour because of the Long Island Railroad's incompetence. This is classic poet Patrick Nowakowski. Does not accommodate. When there's a cancellation, he doesn't believe in accommodating customers. He doesn't give a crap about the customers. Why is this man still running this organization is beyond me. So you can take a look at this error. So I'm going to now show you, I want to show you what the point-to-point calculator does when it comes to this. Okay, so we're looking at the point-to-point calculator on the MTA's website. And you'll see all the planned work going on. You have a lot of, we have the track work here, and then they're doing the Babylon branch too. There'll be another video. There is a reduced service on that as well because they're putting in, yes, they're getting concrete size, but that's not what this video is about. So I'm going to put in here the schedules. First, Mineola to Penn Station. So as you see, they got an alert, and they're only giving us hourly service. So alert basically is for a train that would normally be here, and this train will be canceled due to track work. All right, so it says this train will be canceled due to track work. Message this train is canceled due to track work. All right, so they canceled one of the trains because of the track work, but they never had the Ronkonkoma train make the stop of that train to make up for it. So we got the alert here, and you see this basically the point-to-point calculator, what it's doing. So the Long Island Railroad really goofed up with the service. All right, so okay, Mineola to Penn Station, pretty much stuck with the same level of service that you have at any other mainline local station except for Hicksville. So the railroad goofed up. Mineola is a major hub, and they're providing Mineola. They're shortchanging Mineola. Obviously, some kind of mistake or something. Go figure this happens when I move in here, but that's what happens. So let's go here from Mineola. Now let's go Mineola to Deer Park, and it gets even crazier when you look at the suggestions of this. So we got to change this to, let's change this to, let's see, it's 2 p.m. All right, so this thing actually has us going all the way to Jamaica and transferring at Jamaica and back. So this is crazy, but as you can see, it has, again, the alert, this train is canceled. Normally, you take a train, like I told you, around 2:28 or whatever, 28 after the hour, because you have half-hourly service going to Huntington, and both those Huntington trains stop at Mineola. But they canceled one of them, but they never made the Ronkonkoma train make an extra stop to accommodate people in Mineola. So I think you understand what I'm trying to say here now, and hopefully it becomes a little clearer to you. So the railroad really did screw up. Hopefully they'll correct this, and I know they'll have to print out new schedules, but they need to fix this problem because there will be more track work in the future, and shortchanging service at Mineola is a pretty dumb idea, So let's now get to what it looked like today at Mineola, and you get to see a train pass by, and bewildered people standing on the platform like, what the hell is going on? Okay, I guess this will be my first video since after the move. We have a problem here. They're doing construction this weekend, so the Huntington trains are only running every hour instead of every half an hour, and those two trains really stop here in Mineola, but because they're only running once an hour, Mineola is left with once an hour service. They're not having the Ronkonkoma trains making a stop in Mineola. Alright, all these people here are waiting for a train they think is going to stop here, but it's not. It's going to fly past the station. This is the Ronkonkoma train. Now remember, there's only one Huntington train an hour, so instead of having the Ronkonkoma train make a Mineola stop, guess what's going to happen? Yep, going to fly right past Mineola. So Mineola is effectively left with hourly service, which is absolutely a travesty. Because they cut the Huntington trains back to every hour instead of every half an hour, they never had the Ronkonkoma train make the stop that the Huntington train that was eliminated. That was basically doing track work at Harold Interlocking. They're doing track work at Harold Interlocking, and that track work is for the east side access. They're doing pre-signal testing, so the Huntington train's only every hour, and they're not having the Ronkonkoma trains stop in Mineola to make up for that. So yeah, this will be my first video after the move about the Long Island Railroad screwing up. I'm sure with many more to come, and we're going to look at the schedules too and show you what they're doing. So yeah, that's what's going on. So Mineola is basically left with every hour service. The Oyster Bay train does stop here, but it connects up to the same Huntington train. So we're left with hourly service, while the Ronkonkoma train just sails right on past. And it's once again the Long Island Railroad showing some kind of favoritism. I don't know what, or just some kind of scheduling mistake. This is under the leadership of Patrick Nowakowski, who could care less about the customers. I'm sure if Helena Williams was our president, this wouldn't be happening. But I figured I'd share that with you.